Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we are in week 3 of the NFL season, and we are talking running back position. This is your start and sit video to help you guys out with the running back position. Always full PPR, and of course, if it is half PPR as well. If you are in a standard league, hit me up in the comments down below. So let's jump right into it. Week 3 is here. We have a Thursday night game, 2 Monday night games, so make sure you guys are prepared for that. A lot of injuries have happened, and hopefully you guys were able to have some success and get the players you wanted off of waivers. A lot of things you got to pay attention to, so make sure you guys are following us on X to obviously keep up to date with any injury news, different things like that. Now, this is your start and sit video for the running back position, and these are the running backs I believe you should obviously start this week without a doubt, whether it be matchup or they are just the bell cows for their team, and they should have some great success. Now, the first running back I want to mention as a good start this week is going to be Derrick Henry versus the Cowboys. Look, Cowboys' run defense just is still missing. They're not having any success. They just allowed Alvin Kamara to have an amazing, obviously, fantasy week and in real life week, and it just continues to have an issue. Henry now gets to face a defense that is allowing over 100 yards on the ground and 35 points to the running back position. Now, that's obviously skewed with Kamara's game, but they're still allowing some success. Even Jerome Ford had 18 points, and he didn't run well, but he still scored 18 points. With Lamar Jackson still being a factor on the ground, it's going to keep the linebackers pretty honest. It's going to allow the linebackers not be able to completely, really hone in on Derrick Henry itself and just, again, have issues. The defense for the Cowboys, great in the secondary, great when they're ahead, but when they're going against a team that's going to smash mouth them and just go run first, they have struggled. So I know Derrick Henry has not been fantastic. I know a lot of people are not trusting him, but this is the 1 week that I truly think he's going to have an amazing game and continue to see how the Dallas Cowboys run defense struggles. Another running back I really like this week is going to be Javonte Williams versus the Bucs. Now, 2 scenarios are going to happen with this. One is if the Broncos could somewhat keep this close, Javonte Williams, I think, will have a better game. If they does get out of like crazy way, I still think Javonte has some possible chance of having a successful week. The Bucs are allowing 32 points a game to the running back position, and a lot of it has to do with the PPR side, allowing 9 receptions per game, 9, and just about 84 yards on the ground. With the Bucs expected to be up, which is probably the scenario, Javonte should see similar or if not more receptions than he did in week 2 where he had 5. And again, I'm thinking 13 to 15 points in fantasy. I'm not saying Javonte Williams is going to have 100 yards on the ground and put up like 20 plus points. Could it get close to 15 to 20? I'm thinking closer to 15 just because, again, we're talking full PPR. If he had 5 receptions last week, he's probably going to be very similar to that, 6 to 7 even. I think he's going to have some success in that way. Another running back I like this week is going to be Travis Etienne versus the Bills. The one thing the Bills are struggling defensively is against the run. Their linebackers are dealing with a lot of injuries, and right now they're allowing 8 receptions per game to the running back position. Etienne should take advantage of that because I do think the Jaguars are going to be down against Buffalo, which means he's going to see 4 to 5 receptions in this game. He should be a lot more efficient because, again, there are injuries that the linebacker position is right now for the Buffalo Bills. And this really is a make or break a game for Travis Etienne. He has not played very well this season, and I think this is a game where I think most people are probably going to be jumping off ship. Would like, obviously, to see more out of him. I don't know if Bigsby's going to say take over, but I do think that this game is definitely something of a factor. And I think with Travis Etienne struggles against the Buffalo Bills for Monday night, I'm a little nervous. Another running back I really like this week is going to be Tony Pollard versus the Packers. The Packers are allowing over 100 yards on the ground to backs, as well as 26 points a game. Pollard will be given the first opportunities to obviously take advantage of this backfield, and he's been out touching and out snapping Tyjae Spears, which realistically, even myself included, I thought this was going to be a 50-50 split, and currently that is nowhere near the case. Pollard is currently running back 13 for the season so far, and he's averaging 16 points a game. So this is a really solid Like, he's a really solid RB2 with RB1 potential this week in this matchup. So I really like Tony Pollard. I think you should feel comfortable and confident in putting him in. And I think right now he is doing a fantastic job for the Tennessee Titans. Now, on the flip side, these are running backs I'm not going to start this week if possible. James Conner comes to mind. He's going against the Detroit Lions, and the Detroit Lions are actually really good against the run and holding them running backs to only 10 points a game. Like, they're the best at it. Part of it is they're just not great against the pass, but that's a whole nother story. So with that said, James Conner has a little bit of a tough matchup, and the Lions just held Kyron Williams to 14, Rashad White's to 3 points, and this game really leans toward a passing attack that I think the Cardinals will have to have some success, which I really love for Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr., and of course Trey McBride. Now, it will be really hard to sit James Conner because he's probably your number one back or possibly number two, just because he has performed really well, and again, he's been averaging 19 points a game, so it's not like he's been struggling in that aspect, but I do think this is a matchup that I'm not super in love with. Another running back I'm not super in love with this week is going to be Aaron Jones versus the Texans. Aaron Jones is banged up, and now is a tough matchup against the Texans. Texans are third best against running backs, holding them to only 14 points a game and averaging only 38 yards on the ground to them. Jones's value will only be in the receiving aspect, and of course, if Texans are up, that might be where he has some opportunity to have some success. But the injury is something to keep an eye on. And right now, Ty Chandler may have some value for some folks in deeper leagues. I'm not saying you go and grab him, but there's a chance that Ty Chandler's touches will increase, which has slowly been happening anyways. So again, I'm not trusting Aaron Jones a lot this week. Another running back I don't trust this week is going to be Devin Singletary versus the Browns. If Cleveland goes up, which is a very high chance, Singletary may struggle to hit double digits this week. The Browns are only allowing 74 yards on the ground, but are also only allowing 4 receptions a game. That's it. Singletary has not played very well. He's only averaging 11 points a game. He's not obviously a great receiving back compared to, say, like Saquon Barkley was in the past. In this matchup, I think the Browns win this game. I think they could be up pretty heavily, and I think he's going to struggle. So Devin Singletary is another running back I'm not putting in my lineup. And the last running back I want to mention as a good sit is going to be Najee Harris versus the Chargers. Chargers are only allowing 73 yards on the ground and have yet to allow a touchdown to a running back on the ground. Najee hasn't performed well behind the Steelers' offensive line, which is still trying to figure itself out. They're having some issues, and because of that, he's only currently averaging 8 points a game and has a really tough matchup. I had some high hopes for Najee Harris this season, but the fact is the Steelers aren't threatening on the ground. They're not creating holes. They're not allowing, obviously, big plays to happen. They're even struggling to obviously protect Justin Fields. So Najee Harris, unfortunately, will be a sit this week. Now, my sleepers for the week, I have Zamir White versus the Panthers, which is crazy to me, and Deontay Foreman versus the Giants. Zamir White, I like this week just because I think this is a matchup that it's got to make or break for him. And, of course, if he has a great game, we're selling him as fast as we can. And Deontay Foreman really outtouched Jerome Ford, which is kind of shocking, but also not shocking, right? Foreman's done a pretty good job as far as a journeyman in the running back position, and the Giants obviously have struggled. So, again, those are my sleepers for this week. Hey, if you have questions, hit me up in the comments down below. I'd love to help you guys out with your fantasy lineups. I know I'm not the most perfect expert in the world, but I go through this analytically. I make sure I look at stats, matchups, and I, of course, want to give you the best stats I can possibly give just to help you guys out. That's what we're here for. If you guys haven't already, check out other Start Sit videos. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, and I'll check you guys out next time.